Okay, Kelly Rowland, my girl. Oh my gosh, I'm so bummed I missed her on tour with Brandy and Monica. Anyway,
She opened.
y'all. Okay, hey y'all. Here we go. We about to talk about
Oh
Devout
wow.
today. I'm here with JoJo. You can't see JoJo because we're on the Talk Shop Live, but he's here. Thanks, y'all. I'm just saying hi to the Instagram folks right here.
Yeah.
Seeing you in Boston. Woo! Y'all, shop.
I'm gonna have to
Everybody.
keep up these comments.
Yeah. Hola. Hola, ¿qué tal? Okay, we got the Latinos in the house too. Aquí estamos, pues. Okay. Do I just can I keep chatting with them? You let me know when we start over here.
We will.
Should I show them?
Sure.
Can I say hi? Okay, y'all. Here's what I'm looking at. This is JoJo with Talk Shop Live, and there I am. My lighting's not as good as his, but we're ready. Are we ready? And then I've got some of my other team folk over here. Get my publicist and okay, and Tim. Okay, Lehigh, Utah. Okay, you're gonna have to help me, JoJo, because I get
Oh,
just
I'll don't worry. I'll help drive this. I was gonna
okay.
say drive this ship, but you don't. You drive a train. I don't know. I'm gonna drive it.
Oh, okay. Oh wait, it says no sound. Did somebody say no sound, or can you hear me, y'all? Let me know if you can hear me.
All right.
It might
Well,
if it's muffled. But anyway,
I think we're gonna start this live stream now.
okay, let's do it.
Let's do it, David. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Today is your book release for Devout. I just wanted to ask you how you're feeling right now.
I feel good. Da-na-na-na. I feel great, actually. So far, so great, as Demi Lovato would say, or
And
used
I
to
was
say.
actually, I was wondering, did any of your family or friends get copies of the book I have here before, or is everyone just kind of reading it, today, getting
um,
their hands on it today?
okay, my sister, okay, my family got their copies early, like on Friday, because I got some early copies I could send to people, and then some of my other family members got it today, and then everyone else will get it tomorrow. So tomorrow,
And now
I
you're
love.
just waiting for the response, which I'm sure is going to be great. I know you start your book tour tomorrow, right?
Yes, I'm in New York. Just landed today, and I am so excited. It's like I've never done a book tour before, and I feel like I kind of got a sense of how they work because I did so many I used to do so many religious they were called like firesides and devotionals, and I would go and speak, and it was kind of in the setting where it's very like conversational discussion.
Mhm.
So I'm really looking forward to it
Oh, I
because
think you're going to have so much fun. You're so personable. You have an amazing story to tell. And right off the top, I do want to tell viewers that you can purchase David's book, Devout, with autograph right now. If you're watching on Talk Shop Live, click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop and you'll receive a link in your DMs to purchase. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just click the link in the description. And I'm seeing everyone's comments come in right now in the chat. They're going really fast. There's a lot of people in there, but I saw someone from Hawaii. I'm trying to keep up with these chats. Everyone's just saying, hi, David, hi, David, hi, David. So we'll try to get to some of your questions, but they're flying here. So I do want to encourage people, though, to stay until the end of the interview because we are going to play some teasers for 3 brand new songs from the Devout EP that accompanies this memoir of release. So that's very exciting. All right. So David, I just kind of want to start from the beginning and take people kind of through the book relatively quickly. The book starts with an encounter you have with a fan on tour, and that really inspired you to share your story so publicly, right?
yeah, I mean it. I feel like it helped me know how to address the topic because a lot of people were asking me the same thing. And so in the introduction, that was the very first thing I wrote to kind of be like, okay, what do I want to say in this book? And I feel like it's kind of divided into two. Like I eventually get to answering that question, but first I kind of take people on a life a life journey of David David from childhood um, to being on Star Search, to American Idol, to being signed, to then being a missionary, and then like to coming to terms with coming out as well, which was what that the in the introduction that
Yeah.
per that a guy who had came up to me at the airport asked me, he said, "How did you do it?" And so, it just gave me a lot of time to reflect. I'm like, "Okay, what was my journey? How did I do it?" And, someone in his position, what does he need to know so that he can make that choice for himself too?
Yeah, and totally. I'm sure so many people are going to relate to your stories, and just using myself as an example, because I was reading your book over the last couple days. For me personally, it was being closeted from a young age. You and I are actually the same age, being half Hispanic, and growing up in fairly religious households. Low key, one of the favorite lines you wrote in your book at the beginning, you said, "I was highly conscious of the fact that I was a gordito 10-year-old Hispanic boy," and I was like, yeah, that sums up my childhood.
Aw.
That is me. So I was just able to relate in my own sense. And I've done my own healing, but for me, it was being able to go back and revisit those feelings that I have worked on. And I kind of just realized that the work is never really done if you want to continue to grow. So how is it for yourself to first sit down and really start to revisit some of these really, really traumatic times and putting it pen to paper?
I think it's kinda hard to go back into your past, when it's so much time has passed, and it's like you've grown up and you've moved on, and you don't think that it's affecting you until you go back and you realize, "Whoa, my gosh, like, this is making me feel so many things," and, and then you think, "Wait, this is still affecting how I act, my behavior, how I respond in certain situations," and it's like, "Wow, like, okay, I guess I haven't moved on." I mean, I may have moved on, like, consciously, but not subconsciously. It's, like, still a part of me and affecting me, and I think I wanna change this. I think I wanna adjust, um, the story a little bit, and, and this may have served me at one time of my life, but it no longer serves me, so I would like to let go of it, release,
Let it
let
go.
let it go. Yeah,
Great line. I
exactly.
did see someone in the chat named Christopher Diva say he just ordered a signed copy. So thank you, Diva.
Woo.
Um, and someone did ask, I didn't catch their name. What was it like to, lose community, I guess, and were you able to gain a new one?
Yeah, I think one of the scariest things about coming out, is losing your community. I mean, I was still going to church even
Mhm.
after I came out for a while, but then I eventually made the decision that I felt it was best for me to even leave, my religion, and, as REM would say, losing my religion. Man, the songs are just coming today,
Well, just yeah, yeah, they're coming in hot.
and coming in hot. Boom. Oh my gosh. Stop. Stop, David. And, uh, yeah, so what was the question? There's
It's feeling like you're going to lose community, but also, do you feel like gained a new one?
Yeah, so I think I was gonna say the most terrifying thing about leaving is it is all you know. It is your people, and it's like you don't wanna lose your people. You feel like, they're your family in a sense. They're your support system, and it's kinda like, why would I wanna lose that? And I think, for some of us, it gets serious enough where you are even willing to give that up because you just realize, I just am not going to have a healthy life in this environment anymore. Not if I want to make the changes that I know I need to make. And if I'm going to be honest with myself, it wasn't really a healthy environment for me to be in anyway. Um, because it didn't give me the room that I needed to really ask the questions I need to and explore, um, to seek those answers and to really see the truth in myself and the authenticity of who I am. So leaving is terrifying at first, but then you realize you can build again, and you can find community. And for me, it took little by little. I reached out to the friends that I knew that had already come out, and that I think that's what's comforting for in this day and age, that there are people who have walked that journey. They did go through those hard things. They they went through a lot of the harder times where they had to build it themselves. They had to create it, you know? And I think that I'm really grateful for that, that I now have a place where people have created a sense of community for those who have come out already and have already asked those questions and demanded to just say, hey, we belong. Even as we are, we belong still, and that we matter and we can thrive. And so I had a lot of wonderful examples of people who could show me that. And one of my friends, Kevin McHale, was one of the first people I reached out to, just to ask him, like, hey, what am I getting myself into? What is this like? Is this okay? And he grew up religious as well in Texas. So it was helpful to have anchors like that. And then just to go over and have like a game night, or go and have just lunch and just talk and let them, and like they listen and they hear your concerns and the things you don't know yet about what is ahead for life, after a life transition like that, like coming out or like leaving religion. And it was just really nice to feel that support. And so, and there are people, and then you find more people like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you have gone through that too. Okay. Like the more you share and the more you just explore, go to like queer safe spaces or online communities like Reddit. My family, like a lot of my family members went to Reddit to find a post religious community that they didn't know where else to go. They're in small towns and they found each other online, which I think is a really beautiful tool that we have today.
Yes, we love Reddit. Shout out to Reddit.
Hey, Reddit.
Yeah. And just to touch on that early community in Salt Lake City, where you grew up, your family is heavily spiritual. Your dad is pretty intense, for lack of a better word. I know at one point you talk about how a family friend falsely, accused your father of something very serious. And I don't want you to give away everything in the book. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I know that was a big catalyst for a lot of things in your life and your relationship with your father.
Right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the book, especially the first half of the book, it really just dives into my relationship with my dad and how difficult it was. And I wanted to talk about it because American Idol made such a big deal about my dad. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about my dad. And I'm going to say, yeah, this is why he was hard, but this is also why he was an essential part of my growth. And no one would, like, everyone knows me because my dad was intense. And part of
Mhm.
that intensity was he intensely believed in his son. He believed that I deserved to be heard. And I've always had a hard time believing in myself and wanting to be noticed. So my dad pushed me to be uncomfortable. And as much as I hated it, I ended up, being on American Idol and pursuing my career. And, it was because of having someone like that. But it's like I can be grateful for the things that he did and also say, you know what, I still deserve to have boundaries so that I can take care of myself the way I feel I need to. Um, and just because you appreciate what someone has done for you in your life, that the good things, it doesn't have mean you have to accept if there's if there's mistreatment going on. And because of setting boundaries over the years, like a decade later of having boundaries and having space, even though it really can upset people when you set boundaries on them, it's ended up being I was able to have a healthy, beautiful relationship with my dad that I haven't had since I was 9 years old. And
Yeah.
and a lot of it has to do with because of the stuff that happened with that family friend and the horrible accusations that were made against my dad that I
Mhm.
didn't really get clarity on until I was an adult, and it affected me. And so, yeah, I get into that in the book. A lot of the drama that I think people thought my dad was doing stuff to me. He wasn't, but I was afraid of him because of what this family friend conditioned me to believe. So later on, it's about how I unravel and let go of those false beliefs. So it's not just like the changing my beliefs in is not just changing my beliefs in religion. It was also changing family beliefs that were instilled in me and traditions that I had to change. and still value the beautiful traditions of my family. I love the traditions that I'm proud of my family and my heritage, but there are also beliefs that are just like, again, this is not needed. I do not need to believe these things. Let go. And yeah, and so I'm really excited to share that part in the book as well.
Well, one line that really stuck out to me, you wrote, I lacked an emotional center, a stable sense of self. You reacted to other people's perception of yourself. And you said you think you're still working on that. In what ways do you think you're still working on that?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm working late. Yeah, I'm working on it still because I think when you're a people pleaser, I think also as a singer, like we are I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive person, so certain things affect me a lot more easily than what other people how it may affect other people. But definitely, I think as a musician, as an entertainer, as an artist, like you care about connecting with people, and so you care about what they think of you, and sometimes you will overcompensate by letting what they think of you control who you become and your behavior and your actions, and you will even um you will like hold yourself back to accommodate some what you think someone's idea of you is so that you fit them to please them. And sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, this isn't even the best version of me. Why am I being the worst, the lesser version of myself just because I think that's what someone wants to see me as? So I still try to over, but it's like so habitual at this point that it's like I don't even think about it. It's just second nature to try and accommodate what someone else's impression may be of me and try to fit what they want me to be. And I've had to work hard to just be like, I don't give up. Keep looking at my because it don't mean that.
Wise words from Tony winner Nicole Scherzinger. No, I
Yeah,
love that. I love that. And I mean,
yeah,
and just like it seems like you've obviously thought about this a lot. And going back to Idol, American Idol, I feel like when I was reading about you auditioning to every live show, it was hurdle after hurdle. And I have such like pleasant memories of watching, you on American Idol. And I'm just like, gosh, I felt so bad. I was like, was there any point where he was enjoying? It seemed like just things were you're getting hit left and right each week. Looking back, were there parts you can look back at now and say, that was good for me, or I did enjoy that? I know you mentioned that it's hard to even remember a lot of stuff.
yeah. Oh, that's what's interesting. I think reality TV is traumatic in its own unique way that it's kind of hard to describe unless you've been on it. I think it actually makes more sense now. Before people are like, "What? How can being on a TV show and being adored and loved by everybody be a problem?" And I think it's easier to make sense of to people now because now people have their own reality TV shows in a sense with their social media, and they see how how draining it can be when you get the peanut gallery coming and you get the haters and you're like, I'm just trying to like live my life, and suddenly I have all these people criticizing me on
And you
my
were a minor.
on my own
You
life.
were you,
And
you were
some
16 on I think just turned 16, or you were 16 on the show. So you
yeah.
were a minor. It's not like you were this teenage adult even. And
And
when
it
you
was
think about the term child star, there's so much like heaviness, pressures, responsibilities. I mean, did you think of yourself as a child star at that point, or were you just like, a workhorse, or did you feel like you were an adult amongst adults?
yeah, I mean, I felt like a child. I feel like I was a young 17.
Hmm.
And so I think that also affected how I went through the American Idol experience. And a lot of it's interesting because as I've talked to a lot of American Idol contestants, a lot of them, there's like a lot of people who forget. It's like you kind of tune out the experience. When I was on the Jennifer Hudson show and talking to her about it, she was just like, I don't remember. She's like, I don't remember the songs I sang on there, and it's like interesting because I'm like, I had to writing the book. I had to go back and like watch my my Idol episodes. I don't know why this is why I loved writing a book, because the book, it's just all my thoughts said straight through. Like there's no pauses like how my brain does in real time in real life. But yeah, I had to go back, and I felt so cringe watching, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like okay, yeah, there's a reason why I tried to forget all of this. And but I look back and I'm like, you know what? I have so much more grace for myself than I did at the time. And I think part of what was so hard for me before to think about it and remember it is because I disliked myself so much when I was there. And when you don't know yourself yet and you don't like yourself, it's really hard to be happy about millions of people watching you as you are just like, I just want to get away, because I don't want to be on TV. Like, why would I want to show myself when I don't like me? But now that I'm in a place finally in my mid 30s where I do, like, I've learned to like myself and love myself, I can look back, and even though I was like cringe, I was able to be like, wait a second, David, why are you cringing? Like it's just you're just a young teen, you're a teenager who's trying to figure your life out, and you got through a really hard thing. You got through a really hard time that it's even hard for adults. Like adults on that show were having nervous breakdowns. You
Yeah.
were able to get through it as a teenager, and just have compassion this time. I was like, it was so nice to be able to look back, and writing this book too, to like look back and say, when I used to be so mad at myself, it was like how I felt about myself at the time, that I was still holding on to those beliefs as an adult, and I was able to rewrite that now that I was reliving and processing all that information with more knowledge and from a more objective perspective.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very mature way to look at things, because I feel like life is about two things. It's being able to enjoy the good stuff when it happens, the celebrations, but also knowing that the hard times are going to come. And if you can kind of just be in the middle and recognize that, it makes life a lot easier. So that stuff only comes with maturity. But I did want to pause briefly and just remind everyone watching that you can purchase Devout with David's autograph right now. If you're watching on Top Shop Live, click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop. We'll send a link to your DMs. Or if you're watching on YouTube, click the description. And I did see someone watching from London. Someone said, come to Chile, Diego Moraes. Come to Chile again. So
Oh,
people want you all over the world, David.
oh. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Yeah, I see some on like the Instagram live, like I saw a Brazil flag a little while.
Yeah,
I saw some Central America. Did I see a Honduras flag? Because we
we love
know
technology.
Catrachos in the house, y'all. Catrachos in the house. Okay.
All right. So your first album comes out and you're kind of like thrust even further into the industry. I mean, you have run-ins with Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, but you were dealing with extreme shyness and self-consciousness. Did you feel like you didn't, belong amongst them, even though you did?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I never felt worthy of the
Yeah.
experience, and I
Which
think
is
that's
crazy because you won a competition, for where you
didn't
beat out. Oh, you
I did
didn't win. In my
competition.
head, you win. I voted for you.
No, David Cook did. We love David Cook. Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
we
David
love David.
sent me a sweet message today. He was just like, "Hey," he's like, "I bought your book," because I was like, "I'm gonna send you a book." I'm gonna send you a book, and he said, "Oh, I already bought one," and he's just like, "I can't wait to read it." And he's just always been so supportive, like quietly, like he never is just like, "Look at me," like, and I think that's what made it more pleasant of an experience on American Idol was I was able to be there with him. I mean, so many of the contestants were really wonderful, and he was one of the many wonderful people on there. But what did you ask?
Well, it was just about feeling like you didn't belong amongst your
Oh yeah,
peers, really.
yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I never. Yeah, like okay, I never felt worthy, and so it was hard to receive everything that I was getting. I think that's what made it also difficult. It was like overstimulation because all this praise and love, I wasn't in a place to receive that. I didn't know how to. I I think I was just so used to rejecting love, and I talk about where that stemmed from childhood, and I thought it was the right thing for me to do was to reject, because for me, I felt like it helped me gauge, like, I won't be worthy for any of this until not until I'm here. And basically for me, I was like, not until I'm clean and pure. And I became, I talk about my OCD scrupulosity that I learned in therapy, that which is like religious OCD, that I was like, I will not be worthy to receive love or any of this until I'm clean and pure. And for me in my head, what did that mean? It meant clean and pure meant to be straight. So I think it was pretty complex, and I look back, and that's why now that I was able to come out and receive and love myself, I was able to look back at the teenager on American Idol and be like, you know what? I know that you didn't feel worthy at the time to receive what you were getting, but now it almost felt like I was receiving it for him as I was watching. And so it was a really beautiful thing that I felt like I was able to reclaim. And I feel like I am reclaiming still continuously. And I feel like that's what the book is for me, is like this redemptive moment. This book is a prequel to my life. It isn't where I am. I don't a lot of the things I talk about and the mentality I had as I was writing it, like, that's not me today. That this is all before, and it feels so good to be somewhere else, somewhere new. But it was hard. It was hard to go back to that place of like self-loathing and self-hatred. I mean, to the point where I was just like, I don't deserve to even be here, you know? And it just feels so good to know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not there anymore. I'm in such a different place. And so, yeah.
And, and talking about that, I know you talk about some engagements that you have and then that got called off, and realizing marriage really wasn't going to change, who you were. And, you were considering ending things. So what was it like diving into that and, sharing it and being so vulnerable with, tons of people who are going to read this book? Was it challenging?
I had processed that emotion enough
Hmm.
and talked about it, that even though I'll cry while talking about it, because I I'm a sensitive person, I'm an emotional person, and I feel like that's why I'm able to connect well with music. Um, but even though I'll cry tears when I think about it, I've like, it's not a pain I'm feeling anymore. Whereas like American Idol and like things with my relationship with my dad and relationship with like the family dynamic I had growing up were a lot harder for me to have to revisit and process, because I hadn't processed it fully. But yeah, I know a lot of people are still getting there because I get messages from them. I get messages from people and their family members of, or their friends, their relative, like people who are still going through what I did, which was suicidal ideation and not feeling like they deserve to be here. And because, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're getting there for the same reasons I got there. I'm like, this is a cycle, this is repetitive, and it keeps happening to people. How can we stop this? Because a lot of people get there unnecessarily. Like, we can help change this narrative. We can help change the environment so that people can grow and thrive and prosper so much more, and in a health, make it a much healthier place. And I'm talking about like my community that I grew up in Utah and in religion. And I just feel like if we just make slight adjustments and if we just listen a little more and understand, people won't have to get to this point nearly as much as they have been. So I feel like there's been some great progress over the last several years, but I feel like there's still tension, there's still some pushback with society and expectations of what it means to be queer. And so I'm hoping that this book will just continue that conversation, just keep it moving forward. Because I'm like, if I feel like if people just listen and hear the points, they'll be like, oh, that totally makes sense. And like, yeah, like there can be room for more inclusion, and be supportive to these people and not push them out and feel isolated, because community is so important. And when you lose community and you lose your value, your sense of value, it's a lot, it's a lot quicker that people end up in that trajectory of not feeling like they deserve to be around and to be here.
And what does it feel to have that family support that you have now? I know some of your family members have, come around and now they truly do support you and who you are.
Ay, mi familia, oiga mi gente. Anyway, Coco, I'm a huge Coco fan. But yeah, my sister here. Shout out to my sister. If they're
Your
my other,
sisters in the chat?
I saw one of them. And if there are others, I love you, my sisters. Sister, sister.
Love to see it.
Um, yeah, my family, and I talk about that in my book as well. My
Mhm.
mom, she, and I think that was an important thing for me too. Like your family, when you come out, does not always support you at first, or they may never.
Something
And
I heard was that you have to let them grieve the life they thought you were going to have. And if they come around and you want to wait for that, it can be beautiful. But yeah, that's something that's helped me.
that's beautiful. And I think that is important. Like, and I think you have to be understanding to that, that, you know, uh, it's a change for everyone. Like the people who do care about you, it's a change for them. And what they thought was going to help you be happy and how to support you in that, they have to make that shift as well. And with my mom, she felt like the loving thing for her to do was to say, "Honey, I love you, and I can't accept this,
Mm.
and I love God more." And she feels so bad. She'll talk about. She's like, "I can't believe I said that to you." And I was like, "Mom, I don't. It's okay because I get it. Like I was in that same mentality too, so I understand why you felt that way. But and at the time, I was like, Mom, I love you too. I don't need you to accept me though. That's not what I'm looking for. It's harder for other people. I had already moved out. I'd moved out like when I was, a teenager,
Mhm.
So it wasn't like, so I was fine. Like I wasn't going to get kicked out of the house at that point, but other people do.
Yeah.
But and so it's different. It's going to look different for everybody. And some of my friends, like after I've come out, like some of my friends I made, they're younger than me, and their parents kicked them out. And their parents thought that was the hard love thing to do. And so I just hope that, just again, like sharing the story, like my mom, she didn't accept me at first, and then she did. She went through the hard time and the grieving. And it was hard for her to listen to me. And it was hard for her to hear the pain that I was going through. But I'm so grateful that she did. And she chose to step away from our religion as well. And it was hard for all of us because we all loved being in our religion. It's
Yeah.
not like we're like, oh, finally. It was like, this is really hard because this was such an important part and significant part of our lives. So, but I'm grateful that I have the support of my family. And man, I just love it. Even my dad, like, I talk about the intense dynamic I had with my dad in the book, but my dad, was I think he had the easiest time to support me, because interestingly enough, my dad had been out of religion for several years at that point, and he was more open-minded. He like shared with me how he shared with me a story about like just trying to get familiar with what the LGBT community looked like, and going to like going to a gay bar because someone invited him just so he could see what it was like, and he was just like, so, and he shared that story with me when I came out, and I talk about it in the book, and just him saying, he's like, "Son, I'm so proud of you, and I support you." So it cool moments like that.
And before we get into the end of this interview, we're going to listen to some of the songs from the EP that accompanies the audiobook. My one last question for you: is there a goal you hope to see realized in your lifetime now, just for where you're at now? What are you thinking ahead about?
If you just realize what I just real do you know that Kobe Calais song?
I do.
Perfect for each I think so. You're saying the goal that I hope to realize.
That you hope to see accomplished in your lifetime.
Gosh, this was like a lifetime thing that I was hoping to accomplish, like to tell this
Yeah.
story. But gosh, I just want to keep having this discussion. And one of my goals, I think, especially right now, I'm just so focused on the book. My
Mhm.
goal is to make sure that people who had to go through what I went through, and a lot of people who've gone through it before I have, like in religious community, like if that's what they want and they want to choose to be there, I want it just to be a safer place for them. And that the people who may not experience the same thing as them just will be more compassionate, and not just compassionate, just supportive, because the queer community, just them living their lives is not harmful in the way that we were taught to believe it was. And if they had the support of their community, it would only be even better. And you would see the beautiful things that they can contribute to any community, whether that's a religious one or the neighborhood or just anywhere that they may be. And that is just like, you know what? Their life may be different. Their partner may look different. The people who they may go, it may happen to be the same sex, but it's really like they want all the same things, and there's such beautiful things that they can contribute. And there's no need to be afraid of someone just because there's one thing that's different about them, because there's so much more that there is common ground. So that's my goal. That I just really want to help promote that conversation and in creating that space however I can, because I know how much has blessed my life. And now it's like, by creating that space and people making space for me as I am, it's made my life so much happier. Like it's and so much easier, and I just want to make it easier for other people.
That's very well said. And I just want to tell viewers one more time, if you're watching this live stream on Talk Shop Live, just click the shop button to get David's book, Devout, with autograph out right now. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop to receive a link in your DMs to purchase. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just click the link in the description. So now, as we get to the end of our time together, I did want to visit the Devout EP. I know we did want to share a few teasers for the 3 songs that come on the EP that will be exclusively released on the audiobook tomorrow, February 17th. So these songs kind of align with the themes of the book, yes?
Yeah. Oh my
And I
gosh,
know
I'm
we
so
have,
excited. Yeah, it's very much like it's like this prequel of life that I got to write about that I think is really beautiful. It's like a step back into almost like teenage David, and like just like the scared place of David, and reflecting on that, and also like reflecting on, I mean, the first song is called Old and Young. So I think and I think a lot of people in the queer community can relate to that sentiment. And I'm not just queer community. I think a lot of people who are just starting anew in whatever way that may be can relate to this. But yes, I can't wait for people to hear these songs. I love them so
yes.
much.
Well,
Yeah.
let's play a clip of Old and Young that you just talked about. Sam, if you can cue that up.
At the same time, I'm still finding out what it feels like to be falling in love, finally feel good enough. Yeah, I'm starting to understand I'm human.
So good.
Thank
I can't wait
you.
for the whole thing. And
Woo.
then I know we get into Stay, which just based on the clips was my favorite. What's the meaning behind Stay?
Stay was a song. I mean, for anyone else who may have got hit, who may be in that rock bottom moment and their lowest of lows, feeling hopeless and feeling like I'm going to get emotional, who feel like they don't see a reason to stick around anymore, just to encourage them to stay,
Yeah,
that
I
it'll
think
get better. So, yeah.
totally okay to get emotional. This is a safe space. I think a lot of people will relate to the message, as I did just from the clip that we're about to hear right now. Sam, if you can play that one, please.
Stay, I promise you're not always gonna feel this way. Stay, I promise you it's gonna swear it's gonna be okay. Please stay.
I love it. I love it. Were you playing the piano in that?
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't. I was
No,
just singing.
it was beautiful. And I know we have the last but not least, On Purpose. What's the story behind this one?
Oh, this is like the segue from prequel life into today, David. And it's about just, I mean, it's a huge part of the book as well, where the moment where I decided to come out was when I realized it's okay to make mistakes. And then messing up and feeling guilty and shame. I'm like, no, I should know better. But it's to remind myself it's okay to make mistakes. So the song is about making mistakes on purpose. Yeah.
On Purpose. All right, let's hear it, Sam.
Not perfect, but I'm not a bad person. I'm trying to unlearn everything, so I'll have a few drinks. I deserve it to make mistakes on purpose.
Love it. It's so great because I was reading this book this last week, and it's some parts are heavy and some parts are really beautiful. And to go from reading this book to seeing your post on Instagram on Valentine's Day, and it just felt like you were like exuding like your true self and self-confidence. And to kind of go from reading this to seeing that, it was so cool to see. So I hope you feel proud of yourself and proud of this book that's released today, Devout. I want to thank you so much for joining us, David. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Thanks, Jojo. So great to converse with you. Yeah. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. And I hope you enjoy the book and then the audiobook and songs. This was all created with a lot of love for all of you. So
We love it. Thank you so much, David. Have good luck on your book tour. I think you're gonna have so much fun. It's right up your alley. I think being able to meet with everyone and kind of give a piece to yourself to everyone as well.
gracias. Muchas gracias.
I hope I see you again soon. Good luck with everything, and everyone get a signed copy now.
Thanks.
All right. See you
Sweet.
later.
Okay. Thank you, Jojo. Bye. Oh, there I am.